In a development sending shockwaves across the NBA landscape, veteran reporter Shams Charania broke the story that Giannis Antetokounmpo is now open-minded about playing somewhere other than Milwaukee. A choice of words that sounds benign, but to league executives who have seen this movie before, functions as the unmistakable first breadcrumb on the trail to a formal trade request. Charania's scoop did not appear in a vacuum. It arrived within 48 hours of the Bucks' latest playoff flameout, a timing many insiders interpret as carefully orchestrated by Giannis's representatives to ratchet up public pressure on the front office while preserving the superstar's image as a reluctant, rather than eager, escape artist. History shows that marquee names in small markets follow a predictable script. Release mild statements of uncertainty to acclimate fans, then escalate behind the scenes. So the mere fact that Giannis signed off on this narrative pivot signals his patience is nearing its expiration date. Local talk radio hosts immediately dissected old soundbites from 2023 in which Antetokounmpo vowed loyalty until the city stops matching my ambition, and national debate shows erupted with comparisons to Anthony Davis's "That's all folks" sweatshirt moment in New Orleans. Meanwhile, rival general managers quietly began stress testing trade packages, knowing step 1 of the superstar exit playbook had just been executed with surgical precision. Before we dive into how things started unraveling, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into deep dives like this. We break down the biggest stories in basketball without the fluff, just facts, receipts, and a bit of chaos. And trust me, you're going to want to see how this one ends. Now, back to the video. The heart of this story is not geography or market size. It is Giannis's obsessive hunt for rings, a motivation he has broadcast since the night he hoisted the 2021 Larry O'Brien Trophy and told reporters, "I want more of these." In countless interviews, he has invoked Kobe Bryant's championship mindset and Michael Jordan's flawless finals record, making it clear that statistical dominance alone will not satisfy him. League insiders note that he has paid close attention to high-profile moves by peers. Kevin Durant's jump to Golden State delivered instant validation, but left lingering questions about legacy. Damian Lillard's exit from Portland cost him years of goodwill without producing playoff success. And Shaquille O'Neal's heavyweight relocation from Orlando to Los Angeles remains the gold standard of a superstar gamble paying triple dividends. Those precedents underscore Giannis's calculus. If he leaves the only NBA home he has known, the destination must present an undeniable path to immediate contention, or the risk to his legacy becomes unacceptable. Sources close to the two-time MVP say he and his camp have spent months studying roster construction, coaching styles, and ownership track records across the league to avoid the pitfalls that ensnared stars whose post-departure chapters never matched the promise of their exits. Every potential suitor is thus being measured not just by raw talent but by infrastructure, training staff reputation, tax room flexibility, willingness to spend on veteran depth, and the locker room culture required to mesh personalities around a dominant, ball-controlling forward. But that's not all. Milwaukee's ability to quell this brewing storm the way it has in the past, by adding an all-star caliber running mate, appears exhausted. The franchise already mortgaged 5 first-round picks and multiple swaps in 2020 to acquire Drew Holiday, a gamble that paid off with the 2021 championship, but left the cupboard half bare. Last offseason, desperation pushed general manager John Horst to go deeper into debt for Damian Lillard, surrendering 3 more unprotected picks and forfeiting the last of the team's maneuverability under the Stepien rule. Injuries, age, and defensive mismatches doomed the Lillard experiment to back-to-back first-round exits, and now Milwaukee's asset ledger shows exactly one tradable first, projected in the late 20s, a pair of distant swaps, and a roster top-heavy with 30-plus-year-olds on lucrative deals. Brook Lopez is 37, Chris Middleton has lingering knee issues, and Dame's contract balloons above $60 million in his age 36 season. Cap sheets obtained from rival front offices indicate the Bucks would exceed the punitive second apron if they attempted another star chase, meaning their best-case internal upgrade is a mid-level exception role player, not the cavalry Giannis believes he needs. Further complicating matters, Milwaukee ceded control of its own first-round picks in 2025, 2027, and 2029 to New Orleans during the Holiday-Lillard transaction. So bottoming out for lottery salvation offers no strategic value. The Pelicans would simply harvest the spoils. That reality forces Horst to prioritize packages centered on established contributors instead of blue-chip prospects. Executives describe the Bucks' stance as win while retooling, a paradox that narrows the field to a handful of franchises boasting both veteran starters and spare draft capital. League rules also demand that any blockbuster sending out Giannis's $51 million salary must bring back roughly equivalent money, which means stacking multiple 8-figure contracts or involving a fellow max-level star. The complexity of matching dollars, pick value, and on-court fit in one trade has many insiders predicting a multi-team deal, potentially 4 franchises deep, mirroring the James Harden to Brooklyn and Durant to Phoenix blockbusters that reshaped 2 conferences in recent years. And it gets even more intriguing. On paper, Houston Rockets general manager Rafael Stone commands the NBA's richest asset war chest, featuring unprotected selections from Phoenix 2025-2027 and Brooklyn 2025-2027, 2029, plus a promising young nucleus of Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, and Jabari Smith Jr. Yet scouts close to Antetokounmpo whisper that he is deeply skeptical of Houston's offensive ecosystem, which ranked 27th in three-point percentage last season, a fatal flaw for a player who thrives in 4-out spacing. As one Giannis confidant put it, he won't sign off on a team where help defenders can camp under the rim. By contrast, the San Antonio Spurs possess their own cache of Atlanta firsts, 2025, 2027, 2029, plus swaps from Boston, Dallas, and Sacramento. And the prospect of partnering with 7'4" phenom Victor Wembanyama has intrigued several people in Giannis's orbit. The question is whether Spurs ownership, historically frugal since the Tim Duncan era, will greenlight the steep luxury tax bill, and whether Greg Popovich, now 76, is prepared to shift from methodical rebuild to instantaneous title push. Golden State's interest, though quieter publicly, could reshape the sweepstakes if the Warriors execute a creative pivot, reacquiring Milwaukee's forfeited picks from New Orleans, then rerouting them plus Draymond Green's contract and additional draft sweeteners for Giannis. Front office sources say conversations with the Pelicans have already explored frameworks in which Golden State sends Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and a future first to New Orleans in exchange for the Bucks' 2027 and 2029 selections, an enticing proposition for Milwaukee, which would regain outbound control and launch a ground-up rebuild on its own timetable. Financially, pairing Giannis with Stephen Curry and a re-signed Klay Thompson would catapult the Warriors into the second apron, triggering roster-building restrictions. But owner Joe Lacob has signaled willingness to foot record-setting tax bills for another legitimate championship window. League marketing executives already salivate at the global appeal of Curry-Giannis synergy, projecting record-breaking jersey sales and international broadcast ratings. Believe it or not, that's not the end of it. The ultimate dark horse may be the New Orleans Pelicans themselves. Holding Milwaukee's next 3 firsts plus swap rights, the Pels are uniquely positioned to entice the Bucks by simply returning their own picks while attaching a win-now centerpiece such as Brandon Ingram or Zion Williamson. Discussions inside the Smoothie King Center reportedly include packaging a top 3 2025 draft pick, should lottery balls cooperate, with Dyson Daniels, Herb Jones, and Milwaukee's reacquired selections to form a blockbuster no other franchise can duplicate. Health concerns around Zion remain an obstacle, but a trio of Giannis, Ingram, and CJ McCollum would boast size, playmaking, and switchable defense in a Western Conference lacking a definitive super team. New Orleans ownership, fresh off constructing a state-of-the-art practice facility, has signaled readiness to push chips to the center of the table, and the franchise's medical staff, credited with extending Drew Holiday's prime, believes it can manage Antetokounmpo's knee maintenance regimen. Cleveland's candidacy hinges on whether President Kobe Altman is willing to sacrifice one of his backcourt all-stars, Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, alongside rising defensive anchor Evan Mobley. The Cavaliers lack unprotected picks beyond 2028, but their selling point is immediate impact. A Giannis, Mitchell, Jarrett Allen frontline supported by shooters like Max Struss and Sam Merrill projects as a top 3 offense and defense on day 1. Oklahoma City, conversely, dangles an unprecedented 14 first-rounders through 2030, plus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, whose inside-out skill sets complement Antetokounmpo on both ends. Thunder general manager Sam Presti is famously methodical, yet executives note he made serious offers for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in 2019. If Giannis signals interest, OKC can outbid anyone without depleting its young rotation. The challenge for both markets is persuading a global icon to embrace smaller media footprints after a decade in modest-sized Milwaukee. While Miami's glamorous reputation invariably inserts the Heat into superstar chatter, the franchise's actual trade ammunition, Tyler Herro, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Nikola Jovic, and 2 unprotected firsts, falls short of Milwaukee's win-now plus picks threshold, especially if Bam Adebayo is deemed untouchable. New York's Knicks lurk as a stealth option thanks to 8 tradable firsts and contracts like Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson that can bridge salary gaps, but internal Knicks analytics question how Giannis's limited perimeter shooting meshes with Jalen Brunson's high-usage drive and kick offense. Synthesizing financial, basketball, and political variables, AM Hoops projects a refined shortlist. Warriors, elite spacing, aggressive ownership, media frenzy. Spurs, generational duo with Wemby, surplus picks, proven culture. Cavaliers, immediate contender in the East, fan base hunger. Thunder, ocean of assets, coach Mark Daniel's creativity. And Knicks, global stage, deep pick chest. Each contender offers a unique path for Antetokounmpo to chase more titles while avoiding the cautionary tales of stars whose departures dimmed rather than burnish their legacies. The only certainty is that Milwaukee faces the most pivotal summer in franchise history, with an irrepressible superstar now signaling, louder than ever, that the clock has officially started on his next chapter. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss our next upload.